In the distant past, Earth existed in silence. The planet was untouched by human hands, a realm where life blossomed in wild, untamed forms. It was the Cretaceous period, a time of vast forests, shimmering seas, and giants who roamed the land, the skies, and the depths. On the land, Triceratops roamed in massive herds beneath the warmth of an eternal sun. Pterosaurs, with wings spread wide, soared through skies as vast as the oceans below. In the deep, enormous creatures with teeth like daggers ruled the oceans, while life flourished across the globe in an intricate dance of survival. This was a world defined by balance and power. At the top of the food chain, the mighty Tyrannosaurus rex ruled. A towering beast, 2 tons of muscle, claws, and instinct, it commanded the land. Its world was one of absolute strength and untamed force. The great herbivores grazed on endless fields of ferns and trees, while the carnivores hunted at dawn, as light painted the world in hues of red and gold. It was a perfect, brutal harmony where every creature had a place. Yet, even in such harmony, the universe was stirring. Far beyond the reaches of Earth, in the endless void of space, a fragment of rock, born from the ancient collisions of celestial bodies, began its journey. This small fragment, invisible and silent, was hurtling toward Earth, where it would forever alter the course of life. For millions of years, the asteroid traveled through the vastness of space, unseen by all. But Earth, oblivious to its approach, continued to spin. Seasons passed, mountains rose, and oceans shifted. It was a living planet, yet fragile in its existence. The asteroid's path brought it into Earth's gravitational field. It began to accelerate, its trajectory set toward the planet. As it approached, the atmosphere compressed and began to glow. Its journey through space became a fiery streak across the sky, its wake igniting the air in its path. Soon, the asteroid's destination was clear: the Yucatan Peninsula. Below, the creatures of Earth continued their lives, unaware of the catastrophe that loomed. The sky above them began to shift in color, a change so subtle it went unnoticed at first. The birds stopped singing, the land grew still, the earth seemed to hold its breath. Then came the flash, a light so bright it blotted out the sun. The roar that followed was not one of sound but of destruction, louder than anything the world had ever known. The asteroid slammed into the Earth with unimaginable force, releasing energy greater than any weapon the human race could conceive. The world shook with a force that traveled across the entire planet. A wave of destruction spread from the point of impact, radiating outward, leveling everything in its path. The seas rose in great walls of water, reaching higher than the tallest trees. Tsunamis crashed against coasts, sweeping everything away. The Earth itself folded under the weight of its own destruction, as molten rock rose from the planet's core and the sky ignited in flames. What followed was not an end, but an incredible transformation. The world was reshaped, its once vibrant surfaces turned to ashes. In a matter of moments, the world was consumed by fire. The air burned hot, rivers of lava carved through the land, and forests vanished in the blink of an eye. The seas boiled, turning the oceans into poisonous clouds of vapor. For days, the earth remained in darkness, as a blanket of smoke and ash covered the sky. The sun's light no longer reached the planet's surface. The temperature plummeted, and the world became a frozen wasteland. Plants died, and herbivores, the lifeblood of the food chain, found nothing to feed on. In turn, the carnivores followed, as hunger ravaged the planet. The great dinosaurs, once the rulers of this world, now faced their end. Tyrannosaurus rex, Triceratops, and all the great creatures of the Cretaceous slowly succumbed to the chaos. The Earth, once teeming with life, was now a silent graveyard, a tomb for the giants that had once roamed it. Yet, amid the destruction, something small survived. Beneath the ash and charred remains, life persisted in the shadows. Insects, amphibians, and small mammals who had hidden in burrows and caves endured. They lived through the long, harsh years of darkness, waiting for a time when the world might heal. And slowly, it began to heal. The dust in the sky began to settle, and weak light from the sun filtered through the clouds of ash. The earth, battered and scarred, began to cool. The first signs of new life began to emerge. Small plants, delicate and fragile, began to sprout from the blackened earth. Ferns, moss, and flowers began to reclaim the planet, their tiny roots pushing through the ashes. Insects returned first, followed by small mammals, birds, and reptiles. These creatures, once hidden in the shadows, now became the dominant life forms on Earth. The Earth had not forgotten the events that had unfolded. The scars of the past remained in the bones of the giants that once roamed it. But life, in its resilience, began to flourish once more. The age of the dinosaurs had passed. It was no longer their world. A new world, a world of mammals, had begun to take shape. The forests grew again, the oceans began to teem with life once more, and the Earth, although forever changed, started to find a new rhythm. This was not the end. It was the beginning of something new. And so, from the ashes of the Cretaceous, life emerged again. The world, once consumed by fire, now began to heal. And with it, the story of life continued. It was no longer a world of giants, but one of adaptability and change. The Earth had been transformed by the impact of a single, unstoppable force. But in that transformation, the foundations of the future were laid. It was from this destruction that the seeds of the next great age were planted. The seeds of humanity.